Hello and welcome to today's video. The past few days I've shown you a video on how to process customer orders, how to check in guests if you worked at a hotel. And today I thought it would be interesting if we were to essentially bid for freight quotes on our product that we create. So, say I work for a company and we produce a product, so we receive customer orders, and it's my job to then reach out to third party transportation companies to get quotes on each item coming in, or I should say going out, so to get the best possible rate. So if I have a purchase order that's ready to ship out, do I want to get a bid from one company or do I want to get a bid from 100 companies and then choose the best, potentially not necessarily the cheapest bid, but the best overall bid? So it really provides you a tool to narrow that down. So I thought it would be an interesting idea to um, start with a blank slate as always. I've already got a background image. I asked ChatGPT to make me a nice image of a truck driving down a highway um, next to a lake with a pretty mountainside in the background. I believe that was my prompt, and this is what I got. So this is what we're gonna roll with because I like this and I would love to live in that little house over here. So as always, the first thing we have to do with the app is to get our data, right? But what is our data gonna need to be? It's gonna need to be because we're just going to collect the data internally within the app. We're going to use a clear collect statement. You could link this to SharePoint. You could link this to SQL Server, Dataverse. You can pull information from a bunch of places without having to type it out manually, like I'm about to show you with the help of ChatGPT, of course. So this is just to keep it internal in the app for the video itself. So we're going to call this collection col PO data because we need the data for all the POs that we need picked up, right? So we got our squiggly bracket to start, and we're going to start with PO number, and we got a colon and double quotes twice. That means it's going to be blank. If there was a space here, that would mean that we're inputting one character, but it's just a blank space. Um, so PO number, what else does a carrier need? So let's do quantity. Let's do weight. They would need the weight of the product. And of course, they would need the pallet count. And then we need something internally to filter this off of. So let's use a date range. So we can say, oh, it fits tomorrow's date, then request a pickup or requests quotes for it to be picked up. So we end with our squiggly bracket and finalize the collect with our semicolon. And you may be thinking, why didn't he put any data in here? So if I was to press this button right now, we would essentially have a 5-column table with no information. So this is where ChatGPT comes into play and becomes our best friend in the whole wide world, hopefully forever. So using the above, I always just copy and paste the formula I've made. So, you know, the structure that I want. So you copy and paste that in first, and then you can say, could you please type me out, let's say 50 rows of data, whoops, using the above formula, F-O-R-M-U-L-A, formula, tripe. Could you please tripe me out using the above formula? Okay, so could you please type me out 50 rows of data using the above formula? I have 5 columns and I need you to input the information for me randomly based on the column based look at in moving too quick based on the column name. Okay, so let's see if this gives us what we are hoping for. And it looks like it is. All right. I like that the POs aren't PO. Wow. I spoke too soon. I was going to say, I like that the POs aren't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. But I get it. That's so anyways, this is now typing us out our 50 rows of data that we are going to pull into the app as soon as it finishes. That's about 10, 20, 30, 40. A few more rows here and we should be all set. Here we go. Whoops. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't want that. And yes, I do know that there's this copy code button here. Okay, so click in here and we paste that. So now that becomes our Cole PO data. Let's collect that data. All right, so now what do we need to do? We needed to do something within the app to show, okay, when does this product need to be picked up? So let's insert a drop down. And this is a date, so doesn't need to be too big. But this is just Cole PO data. So you replace your drop down sample with Cole PO data. But we want to see the date. It's currently showing the date, which is great, but that's just by default. But we want to actually put date here just to make sure it's always the date and it doesn't, for some odd reason, switch to a different column name. So, and we're also going to sort these in ascending value. That way we, you know, we can get the ones that need to go out first. So sort by date, sort order, ascending. Yes. Okay, so perfect. We should have all of our 50 rows. It looks like there's just, yep, one day after another, which is fine with me. So now what do we do? Now I would like to display this in a gallery, but before I display this in a gallery, I need something to display in the gallery, right? If I add a gallery right now, we have nothing to display. So we're going to select this drop down, and default, we are going to put blank as default, and then we are going to, where it says um, allow empty selection, we're going to go true. Oops, false true. We're going to go true. This allows the first box to be blank. So we get our data, let's see, items, value, date, default, no value. Yes, default. I don't want any value in there by default. So why is there, okay, there we go. So let's do that. By default, we put this in here, so we always have to make the change. That way we can, when doing it like that, makes it so you have to click into it to change the date as opposed to just using the current date that it's on. Now we can select this and say on change, because we have to change it from blank, right? So on change, clear collect. The, let's say coal selected PO. So this one we will need, can I just do coal selected PO filter, so I can filter our coal PO data by date, yes, date equals drop down one dot date, but there's one more thing you gotta do. Was that a comma? Dot selected text dot date. There you go. Okay, so yeah, filter it by that, and that should do that for us. So now we have selected PO, we can insert a gallery, and why these galleries, they always come clear and you can't see much is beyond me. At least, you know, and if my mouse would cooperate. Okay, so I just really wanted a like a one-line gallery. Whoops. With first of all, nothing inside of it. So I want it blank, and then I want the gallery to be right over here. And oh, is that that'll be the column height, so we'll get that close. All right, so now we just add our coal. Why would that not be coal? Our selected PO. Why that wouldn't show is beyond me. All right, and then we need to add a text field here. So you got to click into the row and then insert text label. And the first one, it's saying this item date. We already have the date. The date will be showing up here, so we don't necessarily need to see the date. So let's just go this item. Let's start out with the PO number. But we want to show that this is the PO number, so let's add some text in here with this. PO number, and then add a couple spaces and in the quotes, and then you need an ampersand, and that will allow for the text and then your dynamic information to flow through into here. So the PO number there. So let's copy that. Let's paste it here. So what's our next one going to be? It looks like this gallery is going to need to be extended a bit. PO number, we need now what? Quantity, and this would be quantity. And we can make this shorter because we know the quantity is probably never going to be too big. So quantity, and what's next after quantity would be weight. And then the weight could be, we'll put it about there. Copy and paste again, and we do pallet count. So this item, pallet count, we'll say pallet count. All right, and that shouldn't need to be very far, so our box doesn't need to be that big. We can put a little border around that. All right, so now let's see what we get here. So we got our data, got our drop down, so when we make a selection here, boom, now we got our PO number, our quantity, our weight, and our pallet count. Did I not change this from quantity? I did not. And now it shows the appropriate weight. So, just like that, we got the data, we call it in, we can see, but now what's next? So now is the fun part. We're gonna send this off to a distro list, well, which will be my email list, my email for now, to then start receiving quotes back on these items right here. So what we need to do next is add another button. And this one we can call submit quote. We'll make this one a different color. How's bright look? How about darker? We'll go with the darker one. Okay, so submit quote. This one on select, we need to now essentially send out this collection that we have here, this Cole selected PO. So I'm just going to paste that in there for now. And we have to add the Office connector to the app. So data, when you go to data, add data, search, go to Office 365 Outlook, and then I add my connection. And now we have the Outlook connection. This is very important, otherwise you can't send an email out from a Power App. But this is also a free connection, so you can use this for free without having to pay for a premium Power App license. So if you ran this data from a SharePoint list and then use this to send emails out, you could create this app completely free. Okay, so Cole selected PO. I now have that. So now we need to compose the email. I'm not sure what is going on here. Okay, so to compose the email, we'll comment that out for now. So we have to do office, send email, geez, send email v2 is what I use. And this, basically it tells you here, who's the two. The two has to be my email. And then the subject can be freight request, freight quote request, freight. All right. And then the body of the email, this is where it gets fun. So basically, I have some code that I'm going to copy and paste in here and then kind of walk through. Just 1 second. Okay, so we are going to chop up this code. But we can use this. We can say, well, we can just say hello, hello all. This won't have this. Our need for that. Hello all, please see, this is not a receiving report. Receive freight requests, we'll call this. Freight and provide us a freight rate. So hello all, please see the below freight quote request and provide us a freight rate, and we should be good to go. And that doesn't like a lot of this stuff down here. So this I just pulled in from a different table, so we're gonna have to rename these. This was PO number, PO number. And this is why it's great to make an app, save it, and then you can just go back and you can pull from other stuff, so you don't have to waste your time typing out all the coding like over and over and over. And PO should have been capitalized. Quantity, weight, pallets. Oh, let's add one more. Sorry, date. Okay, and then we don't need descriptions or anything else here. So we should be good there. So concat, this is where we pull our Cole selected PO. We're going to concat all the results down here. So here, up here in the table, the TR, the THs, they're basically the column headers, date, PO number, quantity, weight, and pallets. And then you can concat those, and you see how now it's saying, oh, these just don't match what you have up there. So we simply have to plug these in. So the first one is date. The second one is PO number. The third one is quantity. The fourth one is weight. And then pallet count. So, and then we don't need any of the rest of it. So the TR would become the PO, the pallet count, right there. Delete all that. That's all we need. And we don't need any of this stuff. Normal importance, attachments. There's no attachments. So we're going to delete the attachments altogether. Sorry, had that comma still. So that should get us through. So we're going to submit this quote. Oh, but then we should remove it from the, first of all, we'll make sure that this works. So I will click submit quote. I should have just received an email. I will check my email. And this is the email that we just generated. Oh, it looks like we got a little bit of an issue here, but that can easily be changed. And so let's now add the remove if. So once you submit this, we want it to be removed, but I also had a TH excess in the date here because we didn't do it properly. That's why. All right, so that fixes that. But then we need a remove if col PO data date move if col PO data let's say drop down one dot selected text dot date in col PO data dot date. Boom. And then we can even notify quote sent. Simple as that. Notify, then notification type success, and we should be good to go. So we will try this again, and then it should remove this from the data set and give me the appropriate email now without the extra, the TH and the date. Submit quote. So that's submit the quote. Oh, no, I should have cleared out the data. So here's the email. You see the date was fixed, the email that was produced. So let's add one more step. Let's clear out the other collection. We will just clear coal, what was it, coal selected PO, boom. So now when we click a new one, oh, okay, so I made a mistake. We made a mistake. Yeah, I made the same mistake. So we can't do a remove if with an in statement. So it basically has to be if, and it's a very easy fix. It can't be in coal PO data.date because yeah, basically it's in there, so it's just gonna remove it. So date equals date, and then that will start this process all over again. So we'll get the data back in here. We have our data now. So let's select our first one again. We'll submit that quote, which should now clear everything out, give us our nice email again. Which it did. Then we're on to the next date. Submit quote, which it did. The next submit quote, which it did. But you see how quickly I'm able to fire off quotes to potentially hundreds of carriers, and then we can collect those responses in Microsoft Forms, which is also a free function that we can pull data back from there. So as I'm sending these out, I'm getting the different requests, PO 68686, PO 70707. So I'm getting all of these, but potentially 100 different people could be getting all of these all at the same time, and you could be getting responses back in real time. And you wait a few hours, you see all the responses you got in a certain list, and you choose the best one, and you roll from there. So that concludes today's video. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you stuck through the whole thing. I know sometimes they can get long and a little boring, but I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you.